Hello students, today we are going to start our third unit and the topic we are going to see today is design lifecycle. So it is one of the process of UCD which comes under the third one and it explains the importance of the design process like analysis and evaluation. So after that how we are going to make the design for the prototyping purpose. So that's what we are going to discuss in today's topic. Let us begin. So introduction about design. So as we all know, design lifecycle is a structured process that guides the development of application which helps us to focus on the user-centered design. And it ensures that user needs to prioritize his throughout development process. So which helps to scatter the unresolved risk and he can also use the necessary requirements to build a good product. So what are the key phases that I have to look into while going for a design phase? The first one is establishing the requirements, design, prototyping and construction. These are all the basic steps for all product development which we have to follow to deliver a good product. So as we know, it is composing of UCD. We are going to encourage the user in all the phases instead of using him in the traditional way like in the last phase. The first one, establishment of requirements. So the main objective of this phase is understand the user needs and define the functional requirements. So what are the user needs actually? So whenever user is required a product or a service, he needs to complete a specific task. So how we can help him to accomplish this specific task is his user needs. That means the goal of the user. So after getting the basic information, what I have to do is I have to define the functional requirements. As we know, there are two types of requirements. One is functional requirement, which will be explicitly said by the user, and the next one is non-functional requirement, which have to be identified by the programmer. So once I have got the requirement document, then I have to define what are the functional requirements for this particular product. So what are the key activities for this particular phase? So that means to establish or to understand the user needs, I have to follow certain rules and methods. Those methods are called as key activities. First one is user research. So while developing the project, I have to understand who are all the possible stakeholders. That means possible users who might able to use my product. So for understand that, I have to do a small research about the user. So how I'm going to do is, as we discussed earlier, surveys. That means open-ended question surveys, then face-to-face interviews, and then focus group. I hope you people know what is focus group. A cluster group of people who share a common interest about this particular product are called as my focus group. Next one is persona creation. So we all know personas are nothing but fictional characters which support the product development. That means I cannot uh, survey each and everyone in this. So for that I am going to develop some fictional characters, and based on that fictional character groups I am going to do some small modification in the process. The develop user personas to represent the target audience. We know who are all the possible target audience. According to that, I am going to set some properties and I am going to use them as a persona. So next one is task analysis. Identify the task user want to achieve. That means I have a goal. To achieve that goal, what are the key subtopics I have to do? So those subtopics are called as the tasks of the user. So our primary focus is to identify the preliminary task which the user was going to use to achieve his final goal. Next one is user journey map. The map steps the user to take internet with the app. That means the overall navigation flow is going to be represented by the map. How the user is actually following the product, that is called as my user journey map. Next one is technical requirements. Define technical constraints and integration. So if I want to achieve the goals of the user, what are all the feasibilities I have to go? That means technical feasibility, whether it is applicable or whether I'm able to deliver the product on the time or not, that we have to do. That is called as my technical requirements. And then clearly state the outcome. So clearly understand the user needs and initial product vision. So these are all the steps that we have to follow while following the phase one establishing requirement. The next phase is design phase. The main objective of this phase is to transfer the requirement into design concepts. So so far as we have discussed what are the requirements, and those requirements are in the paper form. So now I have to convert this design into a requirements into a design concept. So what are the key activities I am going to do is, with the basic requirement document, I am going to follow a thing called as wireframing. So wireframing is like illustrating the basic layouts of the key app screen. So for example, if the product is to be authentication, then I have to do a basic sketch of the login form and what are the features that are going to available in the login form. I have to detailedly elaborate it in a structured format. So next one is interface design. Create high fidelity design with colors, typography and then branding. And the next one is interaction design. How each and every processor component is going to discuss with the user. That's what we are going to do by defining how user interact with the app. The last one is user feedback. Incorporate feedback to refine the design concept. So as we know, this is the UCD process. The user feedback is going to be helpful for refining my design concept. The outcome of this process is visual and interaction design ready for prototyping. So this is the basic step for developing my prototyping. The next one is prototyping. So the objective of this particular phase is to develop a basic interactive model to test the design. So as far as all the models, all the requirements have helped me to uh, create a concept based model. But now I am going to create an interactive model with the help of prototyping. So what are the key activity I am going to follow here is low fidelity prototypes. That means basic interactive markup, test layout and show. High fidelity prototype which is going to be full of realistic model and full of interactive with the app. And next one is usability testing. Conduct test with the user to define the pain point. And the last one is iterative feedback. So feedback we are going to get from the user and improve the prototype as per his needs. And the outcome of this particular phase is an interactive prototype that is tested with real user and then also refined. Refined in the sense I have improved the features which is recommended by the user. The next course is construction. So develop the app, test it and prepare it for launch. This is the way I am going to sit and code my a particular application. The key activity I am going to do is, we all know front end development, back end development, integration of features, quality of assurance and then launch. So launch phase we are going to submit the app to app store. In quality assurance we are going to conduct functional, usability, performance and security tests to ensure the product is going to be performed in the market in a very well pace and the user is going to accept all the features. So integrations of features in the sense, implement key features like user authentication, push notification and then data synchronization. These are all some key features we have to integrate. And backend, set up a server side system, databases and API. For front end we are going to implement with the code. So depending upon the need we are going to go for iOS we are going to do it in Swift. For Android we are going to do it Kotlin. So post launch, what are the support I'm going to do? So I'm going to collect user feedback and release the update. Outcome of the fourth phase construction phase is a fully functional app available for my user. Next, we are going to see what is the overview of UCD. So we have already discussed about what is the user center process. So according to the third unit, we are going to discuss what are the overview of this UCD. UCD is a design methodology that focuses on the needs, wants and limitations of the end user at each and every phase of the design process. What are the key principles that I am going to use is involve user throughout the design process, prioritize usability and user satisfaction, iterate based on feedback, consider accessibility and then inclusivity. The main goal of this particular piece is create an initiative, engaging and then effective user experience. What is my iteration feedback in the design process? So continuous feedback, collect feedback at every stage of the design process to improve the product. Why iteration is a key? From the beginning itself we are saying we are going to redesign, refine, iterate. Why it is important? It helps to uncover the usability issues in the earlier phase of the product development. Also, it helps to refinement and better alignment with the user needs, reduces costly mistakes in later stage. If you consider in real world examples, many apps go through multiple versions before they achieve user satisfaction. Example, if we consider a mobile app development context, a fitness tracking app which is designed using the UCD process, establishing requirements, identify target users who are all in the sense fitness enthusiastic, their goals, track their workouts, and the app's technical needs, integration with the fitness device. It may be a wearable device or non-wearable device. We are going to find out what are the technical needs and design. How I'm going to do is I'm going to do follow wireframes and high fidelity designs were created based on the user research, and the prototyping in the sense I'm going to create interactive markups were tested leading to improvements in the